Welcome to the She's an Asset podcast, Maine edition. I'm your host, Autumn Schmidt, and I'm very excited to bring you this new chapter where I will be highlighting and interviewing the women of Maine and New England who are making an impact. I hope you enjoy. Regina, I'm so excited to have you on the She's an Asset podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Up here in the county.
Yes, the frozen tundra.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm up in northern Maine, it was 5 hours one way to get here. Yeah. So we were almost in Canada.
Almost. Yeah.
I know. Are you from here?
I am from Presque, about 20 minutes from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regina, will you tell us a little bit about you?
About me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I grew up in this area, like you mentioned. I have been a pharmacist for over 25 years.
A pharmacist?
Yeah.
I had no idea, girl.
Yeah.
Why did you want to get into that?
Well, I loved chemistry. I love learning. And the core of what I do is wanting to help people.
Yeah.
So I decided that was the best path for me. And I went to pharmacy school in Boston.
In Boston?
The big city.
How did you like that?
Oh, I loved it.
You did?
Loved every minute of it. But I was married when I went to pharmacy school. So we wanted to raise a family back here. And that's why we ended up back here. Yeah.
And so you are from Presque.
Mm-hmm.
Do you live in Caribou now?
Nope, I live in Presque.
You live in Presque.
Well, let me clarify, because some people might say I live in Crouseville, which is just outside of Washburn, close
it's
to
close.
Here. If you're in the county, you kind of belong to the whole thing.
And so people really understand this. I mean, this is small town USA.
Yeah.
Population.
Oh, small.
Very, very,
very
small.
Yeah.
And then you went to Boston to become a pharmacist. And I want to come back to this, but tell me more. What else? Tell me more.
What else? Mm-hmm. Well, currently,
yes,
I am starting a new business to empower women who are in the really transitional part of their life, perimenopause, menopause, trying to navigate that whole story. And because it was such a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And had I known then what I know now, my life could have been a lot easier.
Regina, when you say that, give me one overarching theme. There's a lot here, and I understand that. But when you say, if I knew now if I knew then what I know now, what would be one thing that you could give our listeners? Like, if you knew then.
The really deep learning that I had is learning to be true to yourself.
Oh.
Had I known that in my mid-30s, when I was navigating being a mom and being a high-achieving professional, while my husband, who we had the luxury of him staying home to be a stay-at-home dad, so carrying that burden and kind of doing everything for everybody else.
Wow.
I lost myself in that process. And it took a long time for me to get back to finding out who I was. I'm in my early 50s, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that the changes that I've made in the last probably 8 years have transformed my life.
Really?
So my message would be really to not look at the transition in the midlife to be like a downward spiral. Like, this is the beginning of the best years of your life. That's really what I'm looking for.
Really?
Empowerment. Yes. Yeah.
So good. Okay. And we're going to come back to this.
Okay.
We're just doing an overview. And so you're a mom?
Yeah. I have an adult daughter who's married and my son who's a thriving adult as well. He's 23 and she's 26.
Incredible.
25, 26, yeah.
And you work full-time as a pharmacist?
Well, that's part of my story we haven't gotten to, but
tell me.
I was a pharmacist working full-time on the bench until I made a decision that I had enough. I was severely burned out. I can share a story if
Tell
you
me.
want me to.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So I really was kind of holding everything together, right? Because I was the sole breadwinner for our family. I had 2 young children. In the middle of that chaos, I was probably in my late 30s by then. My dad passed away. He was my rock. And I just was in a really dark place.
I'm sorry.
And without feeling like I had a lot of support.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that really feeling alone and wishing that you had somebody to just pull you out.
Yes.
I didn't have that. And I wish I did. So if anything else from this, I hope others hear this story and say, there is a bright side to the end. And you can do it by being true to yourself. So anyway, through that process, I just pushed through, but I had a plan. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. I've got to get out. And so I started crafting my exit strategy from working at my 6-figure job.
How did you do that?
It took a lot of courage. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
And a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting to a place where I felt strong enough to do that on my own.
Okay.
Because I will say, I did not have a lot of support to say, oh yeah, you can get done work. I couldn't do that.
Got it.
So let's fast forward to about when I was probably 44, 45. That's when COVID came and all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And my mother had an unfortunate diagnosis, which kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I was right back to the place that I was when my dad died.
I'm sorry.
And I realized, I can't wait forever. I really need to do this now. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I decided to start my own business on the side, like as a creative outlet to kind of help me get out of that hole.
Love it.
And so I've been doing that.
And what's the business?
It is completely unrelated to pharmacy, but it's a bridal seamstress business.
Really?
I do alterations on the side.
Oh my
so
God.
I built that business up, and it allowed me to be able to walk away from working full-time as a pharmacist, and my husband went back to work to support us because I needed to heal.
Yeah.
And so through that process, I said enough's enough. And I took the really scary, terrifying route of giving up that income to follow my path and build that business up so that I could say, this is who I am now.
Wow.
Yeah. I would say my I guess, thing that I keep doing over and over is reinventing.
Ooh,
Reinvention, right? I mean, that's the core of being true to yourself. Yeah. So that's where I am currently coming to with this new business venture that I have, ENCORE Holistics.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
So I started this business really as a way to honor women.
Yes.
In particular, but because I went through a really tough patch with my aunt, who I was primary caregiver to within the last 3 years. And she had lung cancer. And I was with her at every appointment, every trip, every chemo, every radiation to support her through that.
Yeah.
And while processing all of this stuff, I'm dealing with menopause symptoms and just not feeling great. And I was fed up with the broken healthcare system. After maneuvering that for her, I completely walked away from pharmacy and did not want to really have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come back to healthcare in a little bit of a different way to really help people.
Got it.
So my plan with this company is to support women who are in perimenopause and menopause in particular, because they are the ones carrying the burden of their families, being caregivers to everybody else, and they're losing themselves. And I really, I want them to know that you can find your way back to yourself. It does take some work, and it's really much more helpful with a mentor, a guide, a light, somebody who's been down that path and will help you. So just to be there.
And so what does that look like, Regina, if somebody wanted to work with you? Like, what does that look like?
So I have a pretty active group.
Yeah, you do.
It's called ENCORE Holistics Inner Circle. It's free to join. We'd love to have whoever would like to be there. If you're needing support and you don't want to necessarily use the traditional measures of estrogen, those kind of things, there's alternatives to that. And we talk about that in a supportive community in ENCORE Holistics. And if you want to know more about me or get more details about how I might be able to help you, reach out to me personally.
Okay.
Direct message through Facebook Messenger is probably the best way right now.
Okay. And we'll have that in the show notes.
I'll give you some contact info too. But,
we'll have it right in the show notes. So you can, people will be able to click and get right into your Facebook group. It'll be right in the show notes. So we can have that. And now, so that's really supportive. And what I love about this conversation and where we're going is, so with the She's an Asset, the Maine edition, what I'm really focused on is highlighting women who are crushing it, yet maybe not in the spotlight. And you're very humble because in the beginning you're like, Autumn. But when we look at your story and when we look and we really take a step back and look at the whole picture, I mean, Regina, what I love so much about your story is your ability to stay true to yourself. I know a lot of women listening to this, that's really hard for us. And it's really hard for us to set boundaries and keep them because everybody else needs us. Very similar to what you talked about in your pharmacy job.
Yeah.
You know, and you're a mom and you're a wife. And what just blows my mind even more is how incredible it was that you were, full-time pharmacy, a mom, a wife, and then you're like, I need to, build an exit strategy, and you start up this business, and now you're a bridal seamstress on the side. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And so what I would love to hear, like what you would say to a woman who is kind of in her own battle where everybody needs something from her. She's not true to herself. She got into this job, might be for the pay, might be for the benefits, the security. And feels very soul sucking, and
oh my gosh,
she's getting
that
burned
word
out
right there.
Yeah,
I lived that life. Yeah. It really starts with getting to the point you can't take it anymore, and realizing that there's got to be more to life than this either 9 to 5, whatever you're stuck in. And it really starts with like exploring what lights you up again, getting back to the basics of who you are. And that's not always easy to do on your own. Something that really helped me navigate that was I'm a podcast junkie, and YouTube junkie, and Audible, those kind of things.
Me too.
So there was a book I read that was called Burnout. I don't remember the author offhand, but it was really enlightening. It was the first time, you said boundaries, that was the first time in my life that I actually heard the word boundaries and understood what that meant from a personal development, personal growth perspective.
Yeah.
So I was and most women who are in the high achieving, really demanding career path are not stopping to take time to do the self-development, self-care that we need to. And you don't even know about it. So that was the first time I heard the word boundaries. And it kind of changed everything for me. I was like, oh my word, really a wake-up call. So I was on a deep personal journey of healing myself. I haven't, not that I don't believe therapy has a place and whatnot, but I didn't access that, and probably should have. I haven't shared all the crazy in my life, but I didn't. And reflection now, you can absolutely help yourself by holding a mirror.
1000%.
Holding a mirror and learning to like the self that's right here.
And what I want to say to that is, and I talk so much about it, such a valid point, is, but when we hold up that mirror to ourselves and we start healing pieces of ourselves, that's really when we can heal other people, or help other people to heal and be on that journey with them. Because what happens is, if we do not hold up that mirror, then we have all these unhealed people like projecting and trying to influence other people to do other things. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is just craziness. When really the whole key, and it's very clear this is what you do, but the entire key in my mind to life is to heal thyself. And then everything else will heal. Which is interesting. I'm having this conversation with a former pharmacist. And what I also think is interesting, and I want to dive into this with you, is you actually are very like holistic and alternative. And can you tell me why? Like, what you were in pharmacy and medicine, and now tell me more.
So I've always had a real inclination to herbal products, holistic medicine, and actually the keynote speaker at my graduation at pharmacy school was Andrew Weil, and he is really prominent in holistic health. So it was kind of interesting.
Wow.
So complementary and alternative medicine has always been kind of in my background. But it wasn't really part of my working life because it wasn't, that's not really taught. So I really did a lot of my healing for menopause and perimenopause by learning about holistic processes, holistic medicine.
Like what?
Particularly the healing portion is NLP. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of that. Neuro-linguistic programming.
And essentially it's teaching yourself how to talk to yourself. It's powerful. So I had taken some courses for that, and I'm in a master's program for that.
Incredible.
And I have done some certifications for holistic health and wellness because I'm just frustrated with the current U.S. healthcare system and how it's failed me.
And how it failed you. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, my aunt had gone through that process of lung cancer. We did everything they told us from a medical point of view. And it didn't work. It was not helping. It was making it worse. One thing that would have been really helpful on her journey would have been to get rid of some of the chemicals that she used in her house, and to clean up her diet. Those are all self-driven things that you can do from the inside out to change the course of disease in general. So relating to perimenopause and menopause, there are the fundamental thing, I think, is mindset. It's so powerful. The number 2 thing is look at your diet. If I was going to do something, look at your diet. Calm the inflammation, balance your hormones naturally. Without, and then, can really look for wellness strategies, not a quick fix. I guess is my biggest takeaway there.
And Regina, when you're talking, what is perimenopause?
Perimenopause is kind of like the in-between normal reproductive cycle and the day that you stop having your last period, 12 months from the date of your last period. That's your menopause date. There's like up to a 10-year window called perimenopause. And that's really where symptoms are the most miserable for women.
Really?
Yeah. The weight gain, the irritability, the night sweats, the emotional roller coaster, that is usually in your late 30s through your 40s, and some people have it like up to their mid 50s. For me, I experienced perimenopause on reflection. I didn't know that's what was happening at the time, but in my late 30s.
Wow.
And I had menopause at 44.
Wow.
So I was pretty young.
Yeah.
And looking at the chaos and stress in my life, one of the reasons I was not able to handle it as well as I wanted to was because of this crazy hormone journey that I was on that I didn't recognize. So that's one thing I would really love to help women with is be prepared with information about what you can do or what to expect, right? Had I known that I was not going to use this word and I don't like it, going crazy.
Yeah.
It would have just felt a whole lot better, and to know that you can do something yourself without having to have someone else tell you, like a doctor prescribing a pill. You can actually eat the right foods. You can get rid of the chemicals that you need to kind of rebalance your hormones naturally. You can talk to yourself in a respectful way, which is huge.
That's huge. And so this is why I really love this series, is you're just doing such important work. Like I remember when my mom was going through this, and she, she's holistic and does all the natural stuff. She's an energy healer.
Oh, love that.
But it still knocked her for a loop because nobody was having these conversations. And unfortunately, I saw my mom go through this essentially alone because there was no community, and this was 20 years ago, right? Yeah, you too. And so she's feeling crazy. My dad's out working in the barn all the time because he's like, I'm not coming into the house. And he's not understanding what's going on. And, he's like, oh my God, does my wife just suddenly hate me? And it's like, no, you just don't understand what she's going through. She doesn't understand what she's going through. And I'm the teenager growing up like, what is going on? So again, I just think it's such incredible work that you do. You said that you really want women to have resources and information. Yeah. Will they get that when they come into your Facebook group? Is there information?
Yeah, there is information available, and this is evolving. So there's definitely more information coming. But what I want that space to be is a sacred space for sharing. Like, you're having a problem, let's talk about it. Get it out in the open instead of being like in the background, hidden.
I love that. And now, Regina, what are you up to moving forward? Like, what do you have on the calendar?
Well, on the calendar, I have an upcoming event this year. I'm going to be presenting at the Women's Convention in Portland.
Yes.
And I'll be doing a presentation on thriving through menopause. So I'm excited to.
That's incredible.
It's kind of a workshop kind of thing.
Yes.
So you'll have some actual strategies to leave there with.
Love it.
To manage mood and relaxation. So that's my plan.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And then are you possibly putting together something up here?
I am in the works of putting on a presentation, or actually like an expo.
Love it.
Of alternative medicine healers in the area.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about empowerment. That's the theme of the presentation. So it'll be an afternoon of different providers giving information and support and learning about resources that are out there in our area, which is key.
And that's so important. And again, that's why I love having you here, because I want women to know that you're here and that you are a resource. And they can talk to you from anywhere. They don't have to be here in Caribou or even in Maine. It can be any woman listening to this who's like, oh, like Regina, because the conversation could even happen over Zoom or
for sure.
Right.
Yep.
So I think that's so important. And I love that you're coming downstate for the Maine Women's, I don't know, is it the Maine Women's Conference, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm so excited for that, for you. It's incredible because I know how hard it is, actually. I got denied.
Oh my God.
Last year I got denied teaching situational awareness. So I do know how hard it is to get in. And so I just want to say it's incredible. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. As we wrap up, what would be one thing that you would like to leave our listeners, predominantly women, but I do have some men that listen to this. What would you like to leave them based on, some of the things you've gone through in your life and what you're doing now? What would be just a piece of advice, something that they can take with them today that really could help them on their journey of life?
I would say, from my mentor lens, is for people to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
The bottom line, you're not alone. It's really something I wish I had felt when I was younger. But I'm on a mission to help other women know that you have a voice.
Powerful.
I see you. Yeah.
And you're not alone. And I think that's important, especially going through the perimenopause and the menopause stuff, because like I said, I saw my mom go through it alone. Yeah. And like you said, how many times do women think they're going crazy? They literally think they're going crazy. And
I want to tell you, it's not all in your head. It is absolutely your hormones. I'll say this, estrogen affects almost all of the systems of your body. And one little throw off of that disrupts everything else. So if we can treat that naturally through what you eat and how you talk to yourself to maintain your center, it's life-changing.
I love that,
for that part.
And now, where can people find you? They're going to have links, but just verbalize. Tell us what's the name of your community. How can people find you?
It's ENCORE Holistics on Facebook. I do have a website, ENCOREHolistics.com. It's a work in progress right now because it's evolving.
Yeah.
But my main area of presentation, I guess, is Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. We'll have all the links in the show notes so everybody can find it. Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
And we're heading into your first situational awareness training.
Yes.
And I'm really excited because you brought a lot of women. So thank you.
Well, I wanted to say I appreciate your mission because I think that women really need to know that you have the power within yourself and the confidence and the ability to face whatever challenge you have. Yeah.
100%.
So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the She's an Asset podcast. If you wouldn't mind, could you please share this out? The only way we grow and I can get this out to as many people as possible is with your help. So we're kind of in this together. And the good thing is I know you have my back. So I want to say thank you and ask for you to share the show. And if we're not hanging out in the socials, I hope that you'll come and hang out with me. I'm Autumn Clifford pretty much everywhere. Thank you so much. See you next time.